First item on the agenda is the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. First item on the agenda is probation, and we're going to ask probation and the district attorney's office to come up together because it's the same grant.
Good morning. Joe Kulikin from the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning, Kristen Jackson from the Probation Department.
So we come bearing money. For over 10 years ago, DCJS, Department of Criminal Justice Services, started the GIVE program, which was the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Program. They've seen tremendous success. Last year, 2024, Onondaga County had the lowest gun violence numbers since we started tracking numbers. They are trying to mimic the GIVE success with intimate partner violence programs. The idea is law enforcement will respond, do a questionnaire, a scientifically based questionnaire with the survivor victim. We will identify the people most likely to commit violent intimate partner violence. We will provide services to the victim survivor, and we will provide enhanced investigation and prosecutorial efforts. So we will be creating a senior assistant district attorney position to supervise the program, basically creating a domestic violence unit in our office. Currently, domestic violence is handled with the Special Victims Bureau, which generally investigates or prosecutes sex-related crimes. We are partnering with probation, with the Sheriff's Office, and with the City of Syracuse Police Department to do this program, much like we do with GIVE. DCJS has always been favorably impressed by Onondaga County and our success with some of the programs they have generated, and they have been generous to us. So we're creating 3 positions: an investigator position, a experienced prosecutor position, and a supervisory position. We are also charged with hiring, according to the guidance document from DCJS, a civilian to be a coordinator for the program, much like we have a civilian coordinator for GIVE, and a crime analyst to track the numbers. DCJS is very data-driven in their decision-making processes, and there you have it in a nutshell. Kristen, anything to add?
So the Probation Department is going to be adding 1 probation supervisor position, which will essentially create a dedicated domestic violence unit in the Probation Department. We are also getting funding to supplement these, not supplement, but to add to this reimbursement of the salaries of the probation officers and a principal probation officer that will be assigned to that unit. And they will participate in the DVHRT team, which is the Domestic Violence High Risk Team, which is a collaborative effort with the Sheriff's Department, SPD, Vera House, and the DA's office, obviously. And we will be providing enhanced offender accountability programming, which some of this grant covers as well. So the Probation Department is looking to accept the grant funding in the amount of $298,116 and to create the position.
That's it in a nutshell. Any questions from anybody?
No, Disha?
This is more of, I'm sitting here thinking, yes, this is very important. I remember I was asked to find a young lady a home, and she was going through domestic violence, and we didn't, right? And it was through probation. And she went back into the situation. I was wondering, and this has more to do with the process and not really the budget or the funding. I was wondering, does this also affect the youth, or is this just for adults with the domestic violence?
It's for domestic violence wherever
across
it
the
lies.
board.
And the idea is we know the hurdles of prosecuting domestic violence. People will call police. Somebody will be arrested, but for all the various societal reasons that we have in the world, they enter back into the relationship, back into the housing environment, and create an environment where there's a tremendous risk for future harm. So the idea is this is not going to apply to every domestic violence case. The idea is that we are going to have specific evidence-based criteria to select those most at risk of committing serious physical violence or death against their intimate partner. And then again, we will target those people with enhanced investigation. The Syracuse Police Department is going to create a domestic violence unit on their own with 2 dedicated detectives. And then we will have our own, again, we've always prosecuted domestic violence, but we also are very keenly aware of some of the hurdles with actually having successful prosecution.
Yes.
So in our budget, we've included wraparound services so that we can put people in hotels, so that we can pay transportation in first month, last month, to move people outside of Onondaga County to enhance their safety and hopefully encourage their participation in holding the offender accountable.
Okay, thank you.
How long is this grant funding going to be available?
It's a year.
Okay.
It's March to April, or March 31st to April 1st.
Yes, but they've indicated to us that this is going to be modeled after GIV, which has been in place for
12
12
years.
years.
Okay,
So
okay.
we've been assured by DCJS, as long as the current administration is in place, that this is going to be an ongoing project.
Okay.
And it may be modified. Everybody acknowledges this is the first year. It's a
Right.
pilot program. Right now, it's focused. They wanted us because of, again, DCJS is very data-driven, to only do it in the city of Syracuse. We lobbied collectively, including the Syracuse Police Department, because we know domestic violence doesn't have borders, to include the county and the sheriff's office.
Okay. If the funding were to go away, it'd depend on the success of the program as to whether we would continue to fund it on
Yes,
our own or
yes,
not.
yes.
Okay, okay. Questions, Brian?
And then Raise the Age would be that source, I heard. This is kind of more of a seed type of thing, and then Raise the Age is the backup for this?
No,
Did I hear that?
that's the other grant that I.
It's the other grant,
Raise
yeah,
Your Guy,
okay,
yes.
so.
This is separate. So this funding, the way GIV is structured, they give us an amount every year. We come up with who is going to spend what on what project.
Yeah.
And then we submit it back to the state and they approve it. So that's how we anticipate this is going to go moving forward as well. So if they reduce our money, we would adjust our strategies.
That said, our funding, meaning Onondaga County's funding from DCJS, I don't know what the multiple is, but it has gone up tremendously in the last 3 years.
Good. Julie?
Okay, thanks. So, and I appreciate you lobbying for all
Sure.
people everywhere because it can be very isolating
Yes.
rurally. Well, it doesn't matter, any city block, it can be very isolating.
Yeah.
So I know there's no magic answer, you guys don't know, but do you have any sort of real idea of how long the pilot monies will be there? And then this is one of those things, would you have a sense of, if it's successful, this is one of these things that personally, I would be supportive of trying to figure out a way to continue it, whether the money's there or not.
I have every reason to believe it
Yeah.
is going to be a continuing program. DCJS has thrown their full weight and finances behind this.
Well, that's great to hear.
And this is a priority. We've been planning for this for 6 months. I mean, we have a working standing committee
Okay.
to try to, and DCJS is actually contracting with service providers that are expert in this field to train up the various parties. So that's under the contract of DCJS, so we don't even have to pay for that. DCJS is paying. The Geiger Institute is who we decided to utilize to teach us how do we better do this. And yeah.
Right, and organizationally, it helps, I mean, it's about victims and helping our
Absolutely.
constituents, but it's also going to help a problem inside, or help us structure and do better and work better and more efficiently. So it could be a fantastic thing all around, hopefully.
Yeah, again, DCJS, and I've talked to the deputy director in charge of law enforcement, is very favorably impressed by Onondaga County and enjoys doing business with us, so to speak, because we do what we say we're going to do, and we get the results they want to see.
And the enhanced collaboration is really what makes it work. And that's what we've been doing
Yeah.
with GIV, and that's what we're going to replicate with Strive.
And that doesn't exist everywhere. You know, there's not everywhere where the city police department and the county sheriff's department see eye to eye. There's not everywhere where the district attorney's office has a very positive working relationship with law enforcement. Sometimes they're at loggerheads because they have different approaches. But in Onondaga County, we've successfully built this collaborative process.
Dave?
I'll move 1A and B and 2A and B.
Excuse me, I just had a
That's a
question.
question?
Yep. First of all, it's a wonderful opportunity. In committee, you answered most of my questions. I'd like to co-sponsor this also, but on another note, unfortunately, we just had a recent homicide on Glass Terrace. I'm sure that you spoke about that. I believe they had a history of violence. Do you think if this program was in effect right now, that looking at their history, it might have helped?
That's certainly the ultimate goal of the program, right?
Yes.
Is homicides the alpha crime and preventing these kinds of tragedies.
Yes.
So there will be education involved. Law enforcement, first responders will be trained how to handle survivor victims and gain their cooperation. And my people will be trained on, again, we've been doing this for a long time, but perfecting what we can do. Evidence-based strategies, things that worked elsewhere that we can implement in Onondaga County. There's very few things in this world that have not been done somewhere else.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Brian?
First, I fully support it. I mean, having sat on the Criminal Justice Advisory Board for a number of years, I know the effectiveness of the this is just, to me, a kind of next level approach, so that's a good thing. Joe, you mentioned this, it's a little bit off topic, but you're here, so I'm going to ask. Last year was a record low year.
Yes.
Gun violence. I don't keep a scorecard, but what's the trend looking like in 25?
We are,
Seems like it's going the other way.
we are higher in 2025 than we were 2024 when I'm talking about gun violence, but we are still well below the 5-year average. So on one hand, the numbers look bad because they've gone up, but 2024 was a record low year. So, there's always going to be aberrations. There's for any number of factors that weigh into it. So the best we can do is keep our 5-year, 10-year numbers, and we are still well below our 10-year average, 5-year and 10-year average.
Thank you, and I'll second Legislator Knapp's foremost.
Okay. Dan?
Thank you. So I'm really glad that we're doing this program and that the state's supporting it. It's my understanding that we are mending our relationship with Vera House from recent past. Are we as a county also going to increase support to Vera House for this program, or going back to, what's that look like?
They will be getting their independent funding from DCJS. We have mended our relationship with Vera House. The district attorney has been very vocal in mending. They have a new director, Tricia Murray. Matthews, I'm sorry. But she's met with the district attorney. The district attorney has full support of Vera House now. The chairman of the board of Vera House is Matt Malinowski. He is a captain in the Syracuse Police Department. So whatever had happened in the past between law enforcement, the district attorney's office, and Vera House, people are moving on.
And they've been at the table for the planning for all of this throughout the last 6 months, so.
Yes, absolutely.
Will we as a county be supporting them separately in addition to this? I guess
The
my
district attorney historically has provided monies to Vera House, which
Okay.
went away during the rift.
Yep.
It's my understanding from speaking to the district attorney, he wants to reignite that support.
Great.
And he has talked to DCJS about using some of our other unrelated grant money to support Vera House. I fully intend to come back before you in August and ask you to accept an additional grant money that the state is providing to support our special prosecutor efforts in Oneida County. And some of that money might be carved off for Vera House,
Okay, great, thank you.
with the permission of DCJS, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make a comment, too, about co-sponsors. If you want to co-sponsor anything, please let Jamie know now or before session day. It's easier for her to make the changes on the resolutions beforehand, okay? We have a motion, we have a second. Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? What's that? All four, yep. Opposed, motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Next, we have transportation.
Good morning. Hey, Julie. Brian. We have 5 resolutions this morning, the first 4 of which are from the enacted New York State budget for 2025-26. As you all know, when I bring the work plan in April every year, we don't necessarily know exactly what's coming from the state in terms of additional supplemental funding streams. They have added, through the state budget process, additional formula-driven funds for our paving programs. The first of which is item A, CHIPS. So these are all driven off of our mileage, our certified mileage, which for Onondaga County is in the neighborhood of 800 miles. And the additional CHIPS money that formula drives to us is $1,287,188. So there's an attached memo explaining that, and then there's also a project list of what we would intend to do with that additional CHIPS funding.
You can keep going, do A, B,
Okay.
C, and D. and
B
then we'll take
is
questions.
same program, different name, same formula, extreme winter recovery. We actually did have a pretty real winter this year, and that drives under the formula $1,167,993, and there is also an accompanying list of paving projects we would do. C is for the Pave New York program. That one drives $1,924,712, and there's an accompanying memo and list of projects. D is the POT program, Pave Our Potholes, which is $1,283,142.
Okay.
And then you want me to keep E separate because that's a
Yeah,
different.
yep. Questions on A, B, C, and D? Yeah. Thank you, this is great work.
Yeah, it's good
Our
news.
Roads are, I think, in top condition.
You got to see, well, you weren't there, you got to see the
Oh, I've already.
pothole killer was out at Marcellus last week when you guys were there.
Yep. Any questions? No. You-
I'll second it. The Facilities Committee had a great meeting out at the Marcellus area station, and great tour by Marty and his team, and got to see where the new sewer line's going to go, which was really exciting.
It's very exciting to us. I know it's not that exciting to you guys, but being able to do what we need to do out there is important.
But we did see the pothole killer, and, yep, up close and personal.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. You're opposed? Okay, good.
Thank you for those. Item E is a transfer resolution to move $15,000 from parts and $15,000 from maintenance, utilities, rents to our automotive line. We have a bead on a tire truck. Our tire truck is a 1993 vintage. It's in rough shape. It's older than most of our employees right now. And the tire truck is as Dave knows, it's a high-end F-750 retro, specially outfitted to repair and replace tires out in the field, which is a lot easier than trying to tow them back to the shop, putting them on a lift to do it. So this allows us to keep our snowplows on the road in the winter when they pop one or damage one. Also in the summer when we're in the middle of a project, we can get the truck out to them a lot faster than getting the injured vehicle back to the shop. So we thought this was a prudent use of the money. Vendor had one on the lot that they would hold for us. So we are literally waiting for you guys to pass it next month, the full session, and then the purchase order will go in.
Good. Questions? No, Disha?
I think this is excellent. I wish you can come change my tires when I'm on the side of the road to have our own little like AAA service. I do move it if there's.
Okay, any other questions? Do we have a second? Dave, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Have a great summer.
Okay, next is water environment protection. The first item, number A, is the public hearing in connection with the improvements for the Onondaga County Sanitary Sewer District. We already made this motion, but the date was different, so this is a new motion to change the date to September 2nd at 12:55.
Move it.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next is confirming appointment of Odine Dyer. Sydney Johnson, you want to come up?
Good morning. So it's the first time I've been up here, so thank you. Our county executive and our team are pleased to announce Odine Dyer, who is moving to the WEP Commissioner position. Odine is an outstanding county employee. He has 15 years of professional experience. He is a PE. He earned his civil engineering degree, and I'm a little partial here, from Syracuse University, my alma mater. Odine has worked very hard in this field, has great experience. He's been with the county over 9 years, with the city of Syracuse 3 years, and private sector engineering experience for another 3. What makes Odine so attractive at this time? WEP, as you know better than I do, is a critical area as this county goes forward and continues to serve our neighbors and our taxpayers. We need a strong manager who can lead a team and create and sustain a positive work environment. So we're very excited about Odine moving into this position.
Questions? Odija?
Welcome, Sydney. You
Thank
did
you.
fabulous your first time. You know, I read Odine's resume, and excellent choice. Thank you for moving so quickly on this.
Thank you.
Dave?
Yeah, I've known Odine for many, many years, particularly at his role at DOT, and tremendous individual, smart, hardworking, willing to do extra things. We approached him about being part of the Cornell Cooperative Extension Board of Directors, one of those thankless, but very important jobs, and he jumped right at it and has done a wonderful job over there as well. Yeah, I think he'll do a wonderful job, and I'd like to co-sponsor, please.
Okay. Brian? Julie? Questions?
Actually, just anecdotally,
Okay.
we had a horrible flood in Jackson area, Legislator, several years ago. And I remember being out there with Marty and OD, and all of us had boots on, and none of us had tall boots on. So anybody that can stand out there in the rushing river water the way we did that day, going from site to site, it's got to be a good guy for the job. So, yeah.
Good. Julie? Questions?
I have personally worked with Odine and Marty at the Marcellus Garage, and I've seen the skill set that he brings to the table in negotiating and working with leadership. And I will say he brings it's a departure, if you will, when I look at his resume versus prior leadership that we've had. But that's not to say, and it's not my prerogative, I don't hire and fire. I'm a legislator, and I respect that, and I stay in my lane, and I'm fully supportive of this, which is why I'm honored to sponsor this. But it is a different structure, if you will, in terms of how I believe you guys are thinking of setting up the WEP leadership structure. Can you talk a little bit about that and why you believe Odine is a good person to fill this? For example, he's not the guy that's been in the trenches, putting pipes in, working his way up from a local municipality, if you will. He comes from a different background, and he's worked with DOT. But you and I had a conversation, because I have questions, because I represent people with the most transformational project, let's talk about it, Micron coming, and we are asked to sponsor hundreds of millions of dollars in bonds in sewer and water infrastructure. This is a big one. And you've chosen Odine, and I am sponsoring this, putting my name on this, and poised to approve this today. Talk a little bit, Sid, about why you believe his skill set is perfect to lead this project and this department moving forward.
So thank you for the question. First of all, the county executive, I think the entire team felt very positively about Odine as a candidate coming into WEP. You're absolutely right. We're at a point in time where WEP is critical to the growth, but the everyday quality of life of our taxpayers. So let me reiterate, we can't lose sight of that. Odine, actually, I should have brought pictures. He has been in the trenches because he was out at Quadnoy Road the last couple of days about let's get this pump station components of the project done so we keep moving forward. So I think he has that hands-on experience, but most importantly, along with that, he did work at WEP. He has great experience over and was welcomed back by many members of the WEP team today. But he brings extremely talented and thoughtful management skills, and that's what we need. Commissioners, Marty's here, and I hold him in high esteem as a commissioner. They're good, solid decision makers and managers, and that's what Odine will do, without a doubt.
Thank you.
In my experience with Odine, whether he'd been in the trenches before or not, he'd be the first one to pick up a shovel and get in the trench if that's what it took to get the job done. And that's what more can you say?
My thought is, I know in the last couple of years, we've did some changes in positions and created some additional ones. I would like to see an updated org chart because it's not just about the commissioner. I think Odine will do a fine job. I want to see the whole team together, and that's the success of the department, is the whole team working together, which I'm looking forward to, and hearing more at budget time, too.
Okay.
Okay? But yeah, if we could get an updated org chart for the management team, I think that would be good for everybody to see. No, Deja?
I would definitely love to co-sign,
Okay.
co-sponsor.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions?
Colleen, that's a great question. And Sid, I'm sure there's a lot more than what the org chart looks like to what's about to happen there. And certainly over the last several years, there have been lots of iterations, improvements, fine-tuning to the current plan. And just to kind of piggyback on what Colleen said, I'm sure there will be a new one. Every new leader is entitled to kind of craft their own vision for how things are going to be done. So just to expand on what Colleen said, it'd be great to keep the legislature involved in what that vision becomes, in addition to the org chart, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. That's what drives funding, hiring, all that stuff. So, and you know, again, this is from the sounds of things, a real kind of meat and potatoes. We've got this asset, we've got to manage it, and then we've got these strategic initiatives, okay? And there are various strategic initiatives. Right. So just understanding how that fits, what the priorities will be, what the organization looks like, just like Colleen said, would be great to, and I'm sure it really goes to Julie's committee, of course, but I definitely, as a sort of bystander of your committee, I'd love to see that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but I'm hearing lots of positivity, so I'm thinking this is going to move, we're going to move forward, but then we would love to invite Odine and let him get stuff squared away. Yeah. But hearing goals, and as you said, you know, management comes in many different forms. You've got a huge department. I mean, you got a ton of employees over there, so that clearly is obviously what you were looking for. When you chose a commissioner in this position.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to hear his goals as well and what his vision once he gets himself squared away, because we know he's, you know, this is
This is day 4, I think.
This is a huge undertaking.
Yeah, for sure.
Give him a little time, and then
Couple
we'll
of
be
days.
inviting you guys in, so obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Dave made a motion. Do we have a second? No, Deja? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have finance. Hello.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Carney. I am the new Director of Real Property Tax Services for Onondaga County.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody. I am here because we had an application for a correction of errors on the Clemens Road Solar Project in Manlius. The company has requested this correction because they believe that there was an error on the roll, an error in essential fact, a clerical error, and based on real property tax law, section 575B, which does say that solar projects have to be valued a certain way. However, they do not have to be valued that way until they are completed. The assessor made a choice to value the structures that were there as they are, not using the solar model because they are real property. And so because the choice was the assessor's, that's not an error in essential fact. It was evaluation of something as an incomplete structure, which is allowed. So the recommendation is that this can be contested through the Board of Assessment Review and/or judicial review, but not through the correction of errors process.
Do you know why they didn't choose to go to the Board of Assessment Review?
I do not.
Okay, okay.
Colleen.
Dan?
So this is the first one since I've been here that I've seen that we've denied. Is there something unique about this that we need to deny it, or how does that process work?
It's just that all denials have to go through you guys as a resolution because they are so uncommon. So we can't just stamp it. Also, it is a denial of, I think, about $15,000 that they're requesting. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments?
No, just that,
That's the legal process.
yeah, there is the homeowner, the property tax and it's requested that this make it to formal. They wouldn't withdraw the request upon our, and I believe it did follow some local process, and I don't think the town agreed that there was any error in, and there's some case law supporting it. We did look into it, so.
Questions? Brian?
This was, well, the attorneys requested it on behalf of RPNY Solar. So, yeah.
So, where I'm going with this is, obviously, it's a trend. It's a fact that a lot of these solar arrays that are coming up are not making it to online and production. So, it's been my kind of opinion, sitting on the Ag Environmental Protection Board, is everybody's trying to split the balance between protecting good soil and building these solar arrays.
Right.
And protecting the farmers' rights, landowner rights to do what they think is best, whether you agree or disagree with it. You know, it's a trend that needs to be dealt with. And this is administrative, this is legal, it's centered on real property tax law. But I find it curious that it's supported by the developer. And I just would say that I think if it was you, county, and really all of the government to get on top of their games as far as how this goes. Again, not to stop anyone from doing what they want with their land, that would be wrong, but to make sure that it's done right. I guess that's my point, because I don't think this is the last time that we, on the level, are going to see disputes with regard to solar, maybe even wind, you know.
Yeah.
So, that's all I have to say about that.
Any other questions?
I should just clarify, I know they had discussions with the town, but it appears they didn't follow the proper procedures at the town level, the administrative procedures, but there were conversations back and forth.
Okay. I'll make a motion to deny it. Do we have a second? Julie, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you. Next is our comptroller to review the annual comprehensive financial report.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. I'm here to present and report on the 2024 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, ACFR, as you hopefully received all of these in your mailboxes, as well as sent out a letter with some important details that I will try to highlight at the moment, as well as answer any questions that you might have. You know, overall, as I was walking by Christie, I said, I thought you were going first, because that was usually Steve Morgan's routine, was to report most of which I was about to say ahead of time, but thanks, Christie, for allowing me to do this ahead of time. You know, I guess we can just, highlights, and the county remains in strong financial position. Our general fund increased by $30.1 million, putting the general fund at $243.3 million. The lion's share of that was because sales tax came in, once again, 23.9 over budget. So, you know, a large portion of general fund increases were due to that. I will note, and maybe even steal a little bit of Christie's thunder, sales tax currently in 2025 is a little ahead of last year's actuals, but a little behind this year's budget. So we're, you know, kind of keeping an eye on that. Across all funds, fund balance is at $599.7 million. Again, that's up $22.8 million. You know, similar again, the sales tax matters and drives, you know, our numbers. Our cash in all funds, $543 million. Once again, that number consistently stays around the sales tax number. That's up $30.2 million over the prior year. We had some debt, serial bonds payable, $59.3 million. Most of it is due to the STEAM school, which is $29.6 million of new issue in 2024. So those are very broad and high-level numbers. I know I could read you the letter that I wrote, but that would seem to be a gigantic waste of your time and mine. I must note, I want to thank IT, personnel department, all the above, for assisting with our needs to do a little bit more automation as it comes to the financial statements. It's really far easier to track during the year and then get the report out, as well as Bonadio, who actually, you know, we prepare and they technically sign and, you know, issue the financial statements. I should have, right from the start, when I got here with me in the back of the room, is our deputy comptroller over the accounting side, Phil Britt, who he and his staff really work hard on this all spring. Then on the audit side, Pete Head is deputy comptroller, chief of staff Jim Conroy, and administrative officer Sarah Graff are with us as well, in case you had any off financial statement questions. We can address that while we're all here. But with that, I'll turn it over to any questions or concerns, and we'll go from there.
Julie? No. Brian?
I don't have any questions. I guess maybe just to complete a sentence, which I know you were trying to be brief, but you talked about new debt in the STEAM school. I think it's important to mention that the STEAM school has revenue behind every dollar that.
Correct.
So I just for the sake of clarity, I appreciate you being brief, really do.
No.
but I think it's important.
And the numbers, I realize that
that
from having sat there, the numbers get blurred together quickly, and yes, thank you for pointing that out. It's something I definitely should have mentioned. Appreciate that.
I'm good.
Sure.
You may not be able to answer this. I'm curious. So, do you have any idea if state ed, if there's always talk of foundation aid for schools going away, but it wouldn't impact STEAM school, correct? Because it's already funded.
I think it's already funded building aid, so it should not affect it.
And then if they ever want
Should is a key word there.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just always curious as it pertains to Syracuse City, because there's always
Yeah, and, you know, they're feeling the same thing that
Yeah.
we all are, including, you know, the city, obviously, not city school district directly, but city of Syracuse is relying on sales tax. What's happened in the state budget, what's happened in the federal budget, all trickles down, right? So it's, yes, that's important, but it's from a STEAM school perspective, it should not affect it because it's building aid, which I don't believe they have touched yet.
Well, yeah, and you're grandfathered in, I think, off of that. I just was
I
curious.
hope so.
about you should, I think you are, but I just always am curious
I-
about the temperature because it was always threatened when I was on the school board, right?
And I think that happens every year.
You never quite know. Okay.
The threats happen, whether it becomes realistic or not is sadly, we find out at the last minute.
Yeah, sidebar, but I was just
No.
curious what you were hearing. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions? No? Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the CFO for her first annual report. Welcome, Christy.
Hello. Good morning. I'm pleased to be here to report out on the first forecast. So the packet that you have in front of you is the same you've seen in years past, and it includes the following 3 documents. The first page is the key economic and fiscal indicators. The second page is the forecast, and the third page is a snapshot of the current fund balance. For an agenda, I'd like to briefly go over the indicators, talk about how we ended 2024 and why, review the first forecast, and then briefly review our current fund balance position. The indicators on page 1 are those that we monitor and use to gauge what's going on in the economy, reviewing what the economy is currently doing and what we think it's going to do to help give context to the overall forecast. There are 3 indicators I wanted to point out. About halfway down the first page, you'll see reconciled sales tax collection. Starting last year, we began to see sales tax growth return to historical norms after several years of historic highs following the pandemic. So in 2021, we saw year-over-year growth of 20% in sales tax. In 2022, 5.1%, 23, 6.7. We ended 2024 at 1.5% growth. Additionally, last year during Q1, we saw a growth of 1.7% year over year, where this year we actually saw a negative 1% growth. As of today, our sales tax year over year is at 0.2%. This is certainly an area of concern for both the 25 budget and the 26 budget. We'll discuss sales tax further as we review the 25 forecast and keep an eye towards the 2026 budget. The second item I'd like to bring your attention to is third from the bottom. We talk about county-filled positions a lot. As you can see, we're continuing to see success in filling these vacant positions in the county. From Q1 of 2023 through Q1 of 2025, we've been able to fill approximately 150 positions. The New York State Health Program has certainly been a huge key to success in this regards. And then the last item I wanted to point out on the indicators is the average monthly public assistance and Medicaid caseloads. With pandemic-era benefits over, we're starting to see an increase in caseloads, which is putting additional pressures on both the 25 budget and will be a driver of expenses in 2026. On page 2, we'll talk about the 2024 actuals and 2025 forecast. On the top of the page, you'll see the revenue, and on the bottom, the appropriations. Across the top, you're going to see 2023 actuals, which we've already gone through, 2024 actuals, which I'll talk about here shortly, the modified budget, and then the first forecasts. So let's discuss how we ended 2024. As Marty said, we ended 2024 with just over a $30 million surplus. I'd like to talk a little bit about what drove that surplus. On the revenue side, sales tax was the primary driver of the surplus for 2024, ending with approximately $18 million over budget. That's primarily a result of 2023 ending at 6.7% growth. The 2024 budget was built on a conservative estimate of 2% growth in 23 and 1% growth in 24. With 23 ending at more than 3 times that, we began 24 with a structural surplus. Conservative budgeting and forecasting of sales tax is really the main reason the county is in such a strong financial position today. Interest and earnings on investments also performed strong in 2024. Based on our fiscal management and cash position, we've been able to continue to put our money to work for us. And in 2024, we saw $13 million from our investments, $9 million over budget. Our average interest rate in 2024 was 4.6%. Wages on the appropriation side, wages continue to be a source of savings in 2024 as we work to fill vacant positions. However, with a workforce of over 3,000 employees, we'll always continue to see some level of churn. However, as we discussed, we're seeing positive gains in hiring and retaining staff. You will see this when we go through the 25 projection, as wages are much more closely aligned with the budget. So that's 2024, $30 million surplus driven primarily by revenues. I would like to take a minute to briefly talk about the sewer fund, though. The sewer fund ended 2024 using approximately 60% of the $11 million fund balance we budgeted, putting over $4 million back into fund balance. At the end of 2024, WEP's fund balance was approximately $27 million. Spending was the main driver of savings, including salaries and benefits as a result of vacancies. But like we've said, we are seeing success in hiring, and WEP is as well. We will continue to strategically use fund balance moving forward with what you all know is significant pressures on the sewer fund. With infrastructure improvements that need to be made as development occurs, there's going to have to be a strategy of rate increases, fund balance use, reserve for bonded debt use, and control of expenditures to the best of our ability. There's just a couple other things I'd like to talk about for 24. At the end of 2024, as Marty said, total governmental funds fund balance was $599 million, an increase of $23 million from 2023 and an all-time high for the county. Cash position ended 2024 at $574 million, an increase of $33 million from 2023. We truly owe former CFO Steve Morgan a great deal of thanks for his stewardship of the county's finances, especially through the pandemic, and as a result, we're probably in the strongest financial position we've ever been in. This will be even more critical as we start to see sales tax coming back down to reality and we take on this unprecedented investment in our community. Moving over to the last column, I'll talk about the first forecast. You'll see we're projecting a $1.7 million surplus for 2025. On the revenue side, we're seeing sales tax growth slowing significantly. The 2025 budget was built on a 2% growth in 2024 and a 1% growth in 2025. With us only realizing 1.5% growth in 2024 and projecting 1% in 2025, we're anticipating a loss from budgeted revenue of about $2.2 million. With sales tax being the county's largest revenue source, this is an area of concern as we return to pre-pandemic growth levels. Earnings on investment are still performing strong, though. The forecast includes a conservative estimate that is anticipating a $1.6 million surplus for 2025. On the appropriation sides, wages are much more closely aligned to the budget as we're having success in filling positions, and we continue to use overtime and $103 for those positions that cannot be filled. A couple of areas we've identified in the projection that are of concern and putting pressure on the budget are temporary assistance programs, where we're seeing increased caseloads. In Safety Net, we've seen a 6% increase, and in Family Assistance, a 12%. With there no longer being pandemic relief funding, we've seen more cases come online as we work to prevent clients from being evicted. In 2025, this equates to approximately a $10 million gross cost increase. Daycare, we're projecting an $11.5 million gross impact on the 2025 budget. We've seen a 22% increase in child care assistant costs over the past few years as a result of the state changing the parent share to 1%, raising eligibility to 85% of the state median income, thus expanding who's eligible, and allowing providers to submit for 80 absences per child per year. Over the past several years, funding from the federal and state government have been sufficient to cover these expenses outside of the county's maintenance of effort. However, this is no longer the case, which is putting increased fiscal pressures on the county as we try to balance the community need and the financial impact. As you're aware, the county has temporarily stopped taking new child care applications. We're working with the state and community partners to monitor when we can lift the hold on these applications and working with the state regarding additional funding. Foster care also continues to be a large financial pressure on the budget, but over the last year, we have seen costs start to level out for foster care. Finally, Medicaid continues to be one of the largest financial burdens on the county's annual budget. And in recent years, the county's share has increased by tens of millions of dollars yearly based on New York State's decision to intercept enhanced federal medical assistance funding, bringing the county's share up to over $105 million, which is the current statutory cap. So as you can see from the forecast, the years of large surpluses are coming to an end. So let's talk a little bit about our current fund balance position. On the last page, you will see on the top is the formula we use to get to the 2024 revenue used to calculate the 15% fund balance goal. You can see the 15% goal equates to $124.5 million. Next, you will see the fund balance at the end of 2023 was $213 million. We then factor in how we ended 2024, so a $30 million surplus, which brings you to the fund balance at the end of 2024 of $243 million. We then further reduce the fund balances for encumbrances or commitments we're rolling forward from the previous year, and in any appropriated fund balance. As you guys know and have approved, we've appropriated $33 million of fund balance in 2025 for supply chain companies, housing, computers, and AI technology, getting us to an unassigned fund balance at the end of 2024 of $209 million, which is 25.2% of general fund revenues, or $84 million over the goal. So that's our report. I do want to end where the county is still in a very strong financial position, but we do have some fiscal pressures ahead of us, with increasing pressures on mandated services and sales tax coming back down to reality. What this means is we're heading back into years where expenditure growth outpaces revenue. However, our baseline budgeting approach and strategic use of surplus funds to invest in one-time initiatives that further the tax base and further investment in our community to drive sales tax has put us in the best financial position possible to ensure we can continue to provide current services and make strategic investments in our community to support the economic growth before us. I want to thank the county executive and this legislative body for its leadership and its support of the structure we've put in place. I look forward to the continued partnership in discussing the 2026 budget in the upcoming months. Can I answer any questions for you guys? I know that's a lot of information at once.
Thank you. Brian, you have questions?
Thank you. Thanks, Christie.
Yeah.
Good report. I think I'll work backwards.
Sure.
Barely read my own handwriting, trying to keep up with all the you talked about Medicaid, that we're at the common shares at the cap. That's been a process, right?
Yep.
And now we're there. This is a kind of curiosity question.
Sure.
Years ago, there were slow administration problems on our side. There was slow reimbursement problems on their side. So from a cash flow standpoint, has all of that improved as we are finding ourselves laying out more money in our share of providing those important services?
Yes. So obviously during the pandemic, a lot of state and federal reimbursement really kind of slowed, and it was even being discussed whether there would be cuts to that. However, since then, we have seen a much more timely payment to us, as well as we send out the Medicaid payments to the state on a weekly basis.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Question 2, investment.
Yeah.
So last year, good return. Great return. You said you averaged 4.6% across the board. Can't be that this year.
No, we are.
Forecast got to be.
Yep.
Where are you at? Across the
So
board.
right now, we're still seeing, because we have money tied up in different tranches, obviously. So we're still seeing around a 4% right now, but obviously with the cuts come. Yep, yeah, so we really are trying to ladder those funds out. But obviously, one of the other things is just, cash position too, making sure that we have enough cash in the bank with some of these investments coming up. So that's going to be, really a strategy in terms of those ladderings and making sure we have enough cash on hand as we start to do these infrastructure improvements. Absolutely.
Okay, sales tax. Last question.
Yeah.
So, I guess an important point to make on sales tax and how we budget for sales tax growth and things like that is, and this is really another, I think, virtue or benefit of the baseline budget, is that we're working off of the prior year's number. So when we're talking about growth, it's whether or not we're going to beat the prior year. We had a very good year last year. We're estimating modest growth from that year, which means things are flattening out, but they're flattening out from a very good position, which means people are spending, people are buying, doing things. But I know in many, many conversations in the past about sales tax, sometimes we get into, what's driving, what's hurting. And my suspicion is the real estate market is still really hurting revenue generation. People are buying things to generate sales you seeing that's causing it to be flat?
So, that's one of those things, we spent a lot of years developing different models to figure out how to review sales tax and different things, and we've gone back and forth, and it's very hard to do. I actually just requested from the state, and we don't get a ton of information when we get our sales tax payment, so I actually just requested from the state an additional report. So I'd love to kind of digest that some more, because it is interesting. We tend to see, cyclical sales, during the year and different things like that. And this year it's really not playing out that way. It's kind of bouncing around where, one quarter isn't necessarily up, and then the first payment is, the second payment's down. So for me right now, I'm really trying to get my head wrapped around what we're seeing. So I'd love to give you a little more information a little bit later once I get that additional information. Sure. Yeah.
Julie?
Yes, the sewer fund.
Yes.
So we know about this, but can you get into it a little bit more for me? I know you're not going to be able to delve in, but go through the numbers a little bit more. I know you were forecasting what's to come. I know you're not going to be able to give specifics, but as you were going through a little bit of that, I was trying to write it down and I didn't catch it all. So can you do that again for me,
Sure,
please?
absolutely.
Thanks.
So for 2024, we budgeted $11 million in fund balance. So obviously, the revenue sources for the sewer fund are the sewer rates on the tax bills. There's some additional surcharge money for some of our industrial users and stuff like that. So it's really rate driven. So really any savings that we see year over year in the sewer fund is based on expenses. So we did have some vacancies in expenses. We did see a little savings in the utility account last year. However, there are some increased pressures coming into 2026 on utilities coming forward. So we ended up putting $4 million back into fund balance for that year. So we budgeted around $11 million for the fund, and we put a little over $4 million back in to fund balance.
$4 million back in, and when you say pressures, you're not talking Micron build-out pressures, are you?
No, I'm just talking about our
In
normal-
general,
So when I'm talking about in there is just normal things. So obviously, all of our trucking costs, chemical costs in terms of processing, all of those we're seeing escalators in costs.
And that is absolutely expected.
Just even outside of any
As is
growth.
the rest of the
Absolutely.
world right now, and being good stewards of, our systems. It's not sexy, but we need to do it, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I know way more than I ever wanted to know. I wanted to know the toilet flushed and it worked, and now I know way too much.
You and me both, here in environmental protection. Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Could we get a one-pager on the sewer fund like you did on the analysis of the fund balance? Thank you.
I just had one. Thank you for joining us. All right. Daycare, just a question. You said that we're spending $11.5 million, 20% increase. Is the state planning on making up some of that, the gap, because it's only going to increase? We know that.
So that $11.5 million that I'm talking about, that's gross appropriation. So that's not going to be the local cost to the county. Sorry, the mic. Historically, we've had about a $1.2 million maintenance of effort cost that we've had to meet year over year. In the last several years, as we've expanded, the state's expanded the program, there's been a ton of state and federal money that have come in. So we haven't spent any more than our maintenance of effort. However, those fundings are starting to be reduced as well at the state level. So we're working with the state currently to see if there's any other rollover funds that maybe other counties did not use that we could tap into, and looking at what our $26 amount is in terms of caseloads. But we are seeing a huge cost increase, and it's where we're going to have to make some determinations with what funds are locally that we can support those. So the 11.5 isn't gross, not necessarily local dollars. I just wanted to be clear.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
And on that, I was going to ask that as well. And foster care is another one. We hear about it every single year, and I know we've tried. It's not for lack of trying.
No, absolutely not. The department's working on trying to intervention services and things like that.
Anything changing?
The only thing that is luckily changing is you've seen a dramatic increase in that, almost $20 million increase in the last couple, 5-10 years. But it is starting to flatten out. We are starting to see that trend kind of flatten out, which is good. And I know the department's continuing to put in different efforts for that. So I can get more detail from the department.
And we'll be hearing about that.
Yeah, absolutely. When the budget comes over, that'll certainly be a cost center that we'll talk a lot more about.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Brian?
Thank you. I get
Sure.
about and I know we won't talk about this again probably until, I guess we would call it Smiley Report in September.
I don't know, we should keep it in a plaque. We'll put a Morgan report. I like it.
Report. So it's a great fund. It really is a super high ROI kind of a fund or revenue that the county generates, that creates sales tax, that offsets property tax, and that's all great, right? But can you talk to the numbers that we're seeing? Obviously, a huge jump from 23 to 24. People were traveling more. We could hope events and generate that.
Yeah, so our sales tax, or I mean, our room occupancy tax is at 7%. And we did see a huge jump a few years ago when we both increased that. So it's been pretty steady over the last couple of years. We're averaging around $13 million mark, which was in the budget. It seems to be pretty stable around there. We're anywhere from 13 to 13.5. I haven't seen any huge swings in the last year and a half. So it's been pretty steady that we've seen, but we haven't seen that continued uptick at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Good questions. Any other? No? And the budget will be presented sometime in September?
Exactly.
And you started working on it already?
Of course, yes.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, thank you, Christy.
Thank you, guys.
Good information. Okay, next is, we're calling for the public hearing on the budget for October 2nd at 5 PM. Questions? Do I have a motion?
Move it.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next is amending the charter, local law, and I'm going to turn that over to the chairman.
Thank you. Today, I'm happy to say that the leadership of this legislature is bringing forth this local law. Requires amending to the Onondaga County Charter and Administrative Code on an issue that hasn't been considered in approximately 40 years. It was suggested in 2022, but didn't make it to the floor. What we're talking about is adjusting the term of just legislators from 2 years to 4 years, and to put on term limits of a maximum of 3 consecutive terms. Yes. If passed at session on the 1st, the people will decide on this referendum November 4th. This has been a lot of work, and I'd like to thank the law department and everything that they've done for us here. It's taken a lot of work, and it's something that I've been interested in since I've been at the legislature. I think that it is a path to good governance, and I'm excited to bring it here today. I don't know if our attorney has any comments.
No comments. Just here for questions.
Questions? Anyone have any questions? No? Okay. If you want to be a co-sponsor, please let Jamie know. For a local law, you have to let her know by tomorrow, because that's the cutoff to be a sponsor on a local law. So anyone that's interested, please let Jamie know. And we don't vote on this. We will vote on it at session. And again, session has been changed, the date? Not officially yet, but, okay.
Yeah, Colleen, on that.
Yes.
Sorry. Leadership of this legislature has agreed to move session. That is me, Leader May, Leader Hernandez. You need to sign that with Jamie before you leave today, if that's still your agreement. And so it takes that signing of the document today in order to do that. And so after the document is signed, the date will change, and the date on all of the disclosures and sheets will be changed as well.
Chairman May, I just wanted to say, you know, our session was supposed to be August 5th. So with me saying that we can move it, I can't really say anything without the caucus. So a lot of my caucus, you know, weren't really able to change their prior obligations yet. So we'll still be looking into that if we're signing that document to change session, if it's going to be Friday the 1st, or if it's going to stay as our regular session on the 5th. And that's right now what we're going through.
So are you saying that you are you saying you don't want to sign that document today? You as the minority leader?
I don't think, you know, I would like to have my caucus with me, right? And I want to be the only one at the session, right? And my caucus has a lot of obligations. I know that we were asked to change it in kind of a hurry. Only had a couple of days to try to figure out a lot of their schedules and things. We do agree, as you know, I am a sponsor on it, but we're still working that out. So we will come back and let you know if it's going to be August 5th or August 1st.
I'll just add, obviously, it is every legislator's choice whether to change session. The date that it needs to be moved is to meet the statutory deadlines to make it on the referendum. So if we don't move session, then we cannot get this on the ballot for November. It's a hard deadline, and it just wouldn't give us enough time, so.
And then it would just be on the ballot for 2026, right, as a proposition on the
We'd
ballot.
have to re-vote it, and then it would have to go on for the next ballot. So it's either, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Brian? Yes.
Isn't the only way to move session, there's an alternative method. I don't want to quote what it is, but I think it has to do with the majority of the legislature or supermajority. Then what is it?
Unfortunately, I didn't bring my Bible with me, but there is 3 different ways to do it.
The leadership of the legislature signing up, the easy way.
Majority vote.
Would be a majority vote or supermajority vote on moving the date. So is that what it is?
Just majority.
James? Just majority. So we've got 2 choices. What we're losing a member as a result of the date move as well, at least ourselves, for the sake of this local law. So, and again, we're not deciding on this local law. We're just deciding whether to let the public vote on it. So.
Exactly. And you know, like you say, you're losing a member. I'm losing most of my caucus.
Before session, I just want to thank everybody. My last day at the county will be August 8th. I just wanted to thank everybody. It has literally been a pleasure working with you guys. It has been a lot of fun. I have learned a tremendous amount. You guys are great people, and I wouldn't have changed in the last 11 years at all. So thank you so much. It's been fast and quick. I would have found a better way to do this. So just thank you guys. It's been a pleasure working with all of you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Ben. You know, as a new legislator, you have been essential in letting us know what the laws is, even working on this one, changing all the language, even from the 4 4-year terms to 3 3-year terms, and advocating to put a lot of different language into this local law. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Good luck to you. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
I like how Brian mentioned that supermajority. Yeah.